It is a sad day for voice actors. Well, at least for one voice actor. Vic Mignogna has been fired from two different projects, one with Funimation and, of course, one with Rooster Teeth. The most notable, of course, being the Rooster Teeth production, RWBY. Vic Mignogna has been fired from both projects amid claims of sexual assault and other such allegations. Now, that's kind of crazy when you consider that Vic, outside of what he does in the industry, is a Christian, a follower of God. So those behaviors seem very atypical of somebody who is a follower of God. So it just becomes weird to see these are the allegations that are coming out, and it's hard. You don't know what to say. You don't know how to feel, whether you're a fan of this guy or not. It becomes a little bit more difficult to find out, are these legitimate claims, especially among today's political climate. So this is going to be just a little bit of stuff about the Vic Mignogna situation. And of course, after I talk about some of the articles I've been reading, I'm going to put forth where I stand on the whole situation, just because Vic is somebody I admire in terms of his talent. I admire his work in anime, in video games, and just about anything that he has done. And as a brother in Christ, the last thing I want to do is see the man, be taken down, and the entirety of Christians being basically put into such a negative light. Let's start things off by going to Twitter, and we're going to take a look real quick at the statement posted by Vic Mignogna himself on January 20th of 2019. The statement reads, "This is heartbreaking. Over the last few days, a number of comments and allegations have been voiced on social media. I'd like to share my thoughts. Homophobic? No. Some of my dearest friends are members of the LGBTQ community, including several that I brought into my production family on Star Trek Continues, a fan Star Trek series that he has worked on himself." Going back into this. This is a blatantly false statement. I said many years ago that I didn't think a particular character I voiced was gay, contrary to what some fans believed, not because it matters to me at all, but because I was told this was the case. And he is referring to a character he voiced in the series Tsubasa. I guess the way I understand it is that there are two male characters, one that has sort of a father-type personality and one that has a mother-type personality. And, of course, some people misconstrued that idea of them just being two completely different, two men with two completely different types of ways of thinking, into these guys are going to become closer and closer, and then they kiss sort of type of thing. And that's, from what I understand of it, I know nothing about it. I don't even know anything about Tsubasa, so I'm probably the wrong person to talk to on that one. Going back into the statement here, I also elected not to autograph Yaoi, not because I am homophobic, but because I didn't wish to sign material that was not canon. Again, referring to the whole Tsubasa thing. And then there have been other times people just put together Yaoi-related imagery and such of any characters he's voiced, and he has opted not to sign that stuff again because it's not canon, it is unofficial stuff, and also, guys, just keep your shipping, separate from everything else that these guys have to deal with. Gosh, this is not right. Moving on, anti-Semitic? I couldn't even grasp where this was coming from until someone pointed me to a moment years ago where I was in a panel and referred to a bunch of noise coming from another room jokingly as a Holocaust. As I said then, it was a metaphor for Armageddon, death, and mass destruction, not the Holocaust. Could I have used a different word? Sure, in retrospect I could have, and of course I am sorry that it offended anyone. And, what he said there is actually right. There is the word Holocaust, and it does mean exactly as he mentioned. Any kind of scenario referring to death, mass destruction, etc. A most notable example would be a nuclear holocaust, like you would typically see in the Fallout game series. Nobody in the video game industry has decided to get rid of the word Holocaust in any of those kinds of scenarios, because, again, it's just a word not referring to the actual event of the Holocaust found during Nazi Germany. Moving on. I sincerely apologize to any convention staff member who ever felt I was anything less than kind and grateful to be included in their event. Unknown to most staffers, contractual agreements or arrangements made in advance with cons were occasionally not honored when I arrived, and that made me frustrated. And that can be said of anybody, whether we're talking about a celebrity from, film, TV, or YouTube, or even just a normal human being. There are times that, we have things that are made in terms of arrangements and agreements, and if they aren't fully met in every single way, sometimes we get a little bit frustrated and sometimes we lash out. But for some people, if you are able to find a way to get rid of that negative emotion without lashing out at anybody, if you're able to shake it off, good on you. It's very difficult in modern times to be that way. Now, of course, what Vic says on that one when it comes to his contractual agreements with regards to arriving at the going to the conventions, etc., being frustrated, it does not excuse making anyone feel badly, and I am deeply sorry. And we definitely forgive, at least some of us do. Those of us who understand forgiveness, we forgive you, which means we admonish any anger we feel towards you. I would also like to sincerely apologize to anyone who ever felt my interaction with them, a hug or a kiss on the cheek or forehead, was crossing a line. Never in a million years would it be my intent to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Rather, it was meant to show gratitude or support. I come from an affectionately expressive family where such displays are commonplace, but I understand that not everyone feels the same way. Hence, I will not be interacting the same way with fans in the future. Understand this is the climate we live in, and this is how it has to be. To my fans who ask me for hugs, etc., I'm sorry, but please know that I am no less grateful to or supportive for you. This is sad when, these interactions that are, basically Vic, being a kind-hearted human being, are now no-go. And it's mostly because people keep spreading all these kinds of rumors, which we'll get into in a little bit, which led to some people calling him Vic McFeely. Again, I'll explain this when we get a little bit further down into it. Finally, any allegations of sexual harassment, sexual assault, or most disturbingly, pedophilia are completely and utterly false. My heart weeps for anyone who are endurers of violation of this kind, so to be accused of harming others in this way, I have no words. And this is where the whole thing about, Vic McFeely comes back into it. A lot of people are saying that the way Vic has interacted with especially young female fans was considerably inappropriate. The way he touched them, the kisses, any of that stuff were just borderline not okay. And that's where a lot of these things are coming in. That's where the whole Vic McFeely thing comes into play. Because some people have even said that the physical touch interaction that they had with Vic was involving groping activities. So this is kind of some ridiculously crazy stuff, and it's hard to believe a lot of these things because the sad thing is with the Me Too, Believe All Survivors, Believe All Women movements that are coming out of social justice, we're to just straight up believe the statements whether we have all of the facts or any evidence to back up those claims or not. So basically, whoever is saying Vic Mignogna is guilty of sexual harassment, sexual assault, believe them. Don't listen to Vic when he tries to defend himself. This is not an okay thing to do. And, well, the way I view it, that's garbage. I mean, you're making it a little bit harder for me to believe your statement when really the only thing you have to say as evidence is your sworn testimony. So we are going to move on to the details here coming up with regards to all the other situations, starting with an article right out of CBR.com, comic book resource. Vic Mignogna removed from Rooster Teeth's RWBY amid misconduct claims. Production company Rooster Teeth today announced that voice actor Vic Mignogna has been removed from its anime series RWBY following allegations of sexual misconduct. The company also announced that it is ending all associations with Mignogna. Ugh. You can you can have my throat for that one. This is kind of a unscripted live read sort of situation. So there's going to be a few moments of flubs. I digress. The move comes amid reports that Mignogna had kissed and touched convention attendees without their consent on numerous occasions, according to Anime News Network. The allegations of misconduct go as far back as 2008, with photographic evidence to corroborate said claims. Again, some of those photos we don't have all the details on. And some of those photos that came out, the people that were involved in them gave a little bit further clarification, and they did not want those photos involved in the slander. So there's some sad news right there. The situation is just growing grossly and unfairly towards Mignogna. And any evidence that proves otherwise, they're saying, no, that evidence is in favor of the sexual assault claims. Guys, come on. Provide better evidence than that, please. Mignogna is known for voicing the character Crow Branwen on RWBY. Rooster Teeth did not immediately reveal if the character will be written out of the show or if a new voice actor will take on the role. Prior to his role in RWBY, Mignogna gained notoriety for voicing Edward Elric on Full Metal Alchemist. Most recently, he voiced the English dub for Broly in Dragon Ball Super Broly, which is presently in theaters. Since the misconduct allegations surfaced, several conventions have dropped Mignogna. At the time of reporting, only 5 of 18 conventions to have scheduled the voice actor for appearances this year have retained him. That part is true. I actually have right here on another quick link here, and I'm going to actually bring it up. It's right here. This is from fancons.com, and this shows Vic Mignogna himself. There's his biography, all that, but it also shows his current list of appearances for 2019. The only ones that he has confirmed and attended or will be attending are the following here. SAC Anime 2019, Ichiban Con 2019, Bak Anime 2019, Central PA Comic Con 2019, Tupelo Con 2019, Savannah MegaCon or Mega Comic Con 2019, and finally Anime Matsuri 2019. Those are the only conventions that are listed to have Vic Mignogna scheduled still. This is kind of sad when you think about it. We're seeing a guy who has had quite an impact, has booked a lot of these conventions to interact with his fans. Sadly, he's not going to be able to attend a lot of them just because these allegations are out and we have no full-on evidence to support any of these claims. But believe all women, we believe survivors. That is what we live in. That is how we are supposed to interact with these situations. Normally, I try to keep social politics off of this channel, but at this point, my God, this is bullshit and a half. I'm sorry, I should not be swearing. Christian channel. Kind of, sort of. Just, we'll roll with what I have to say on these matters. But look at how many, if you take a look back here at the convention guest appearances list, look at how many are on here with either a canceled appearance, which would typically mean he withdrew himself, saying he's not going to be able to make the convention, whether it's because of time constraints or some other obligation. But there's a lot more on here with conventions withdrawing the invitations. These include Camicon in Birmingham, Alabama, Seattle, Washington's Emerald City Comic Con, Kawaii Con in Honolulu, Hawaii, Kameha Con in Irving, Texas, Phoenix Fan Fusion in Phoenix, Arizona, Ranger Stop and Pop Con in Atlanta, Georgia, Miami Beach, Florida's Florida SuperCon, Raleigh SuperCon in Raleigh, North Carolina, Kameha Con UK in Manchester, UK, Ancient City, oh wait, no, that one's actually, never mind, the Ancient City Con I was about to mention, that's a canceled appearance. But the last one where they withdrew an invitation was Anime NYC 2019 in New York, New York. Anime Matsuri at first was being listed as one of the conventions that withdrew the invitation for Vic Mignogna amongst all of the claims. But If you go to the director's page on Twitter, they confirm that they did not withdraw the invitation for Vic Mignogna at all. Therefore, he is still attending the convention at this time. Next up on the list, we're going to go to... let's see, which one is this here? Oh, this is from Anime News Network itself. This is one of the articles that's come out explaining the whole thing. I may have to move my window here. Give me one quick second. You're going to be staring at my face for a little bit while I try to rearrange the display catcher so that way the article itself can be a little bit more readable. There we are. That should do it. Let me scroll back up to the top of the Anime News Network article here. Now, this was, of course, back 2 days ago, so just like the firing of Vic Mignogna from Rooster Teeth that I mentioned earlier. Vic Mignogna no longer a member of RWBY cast. Multiple convention appearances canceled. Mignogna issued an apology at Back Anime. Production company Rooster Teeth reached out to Anime News Network on Monday to issue a statement regarding voice actor Vic Mignogna's role in the animated series RWBY. Effective today, Vic Mignogna is no longer a part of the RWBY cast, and Rooster Teeth is ending all associations with Mignogna. This will not affect the creative content of RWBY. I'm calling shenanigans, but, you know, who am I to say anything? I'm just a small-time YouTuber with, you know, only 50-some subscribers at this time. I don't really care about the fame, but, you know, I'm just getting my point out here on this whole situation. Mignogna voiced the recurring character Crow Branwen in the series. Rooster Teeth did not announce who will replace Mignogna in future episodes. Rooster Teeth's statement comes in wake of allegations leveled against voice actor Vic Mignogna last month. 56-year-old Mignogna was accused by a number of con attendees of kissing and embracing them without consent over the course of his career, with some allegations dating back to 2008. Fellow voice actors have publicly issued anecdotes of their personal experiences with Mignogna or support for those speaking out via social media. Monica Rial posted an image on her Instagram page with the text, "I believe and support all survivors," on January 31st. Similarly, Alex Moore and Aaron Roberts also shared supportive messages. That is garbage grammar right there, Anime News Network. Proofread your dang articles before you try to, you know, get your points across. So then they show tweets from Alex Moore, allegedly, and Aaron Roberts. Alex Moore's tweet reads, "I believe survivors. It's 2019. There is nothing to gain from coming forward except peace, sometimes not even justice." Wait, what? What does that even mean? There's nothing to gain except peace, sometimes not even justice. That sounds contradictory right there, but maybe I'm misreading it. From Aaron Roberts. Women who speak out about sexual assault and harassment and are reliving those moments by doing so are brave. Bottom line, we have to do better. Believe women. Neil Kaplan shared his own story of an encounter with Mignogna on Monday. In the story, he recounts how Mignogna mounted him without warning at MegaCon 2008 in Orlando. Kaplan shared a video of the incident, and this is basically just Vic, you know, going piggyback, you know, doing a piggyback ride, you know, riding on his shoulders, whatever, on Kaplan there. Kaplan wrote, "Why is it embarrassing? Well, the dude presses his junk into the back of my neck. I felt violated, and upon further review, I realized that instead of a handshake, the dude mounted me. He didn't know me, and he mounted me. I tried to play it off and make a joke, but it was vile and rude, but he was popular, so what was I going to do other than let it go and move on?" Stephanie Shea shared Anime News Network's article on Twitter and later followed up with a tweet about negative reactions she received for sharing it, even without a personal comment attached. Voice actor DC Douglas posted a longer thread detailing the considerations and difficulties he had prior to sharing the article. He expressed he was initially concerned about how engaging in the issue might affect his ability to continue working in the industry and how that can have a silencing effect. Caitlin Glass shared biblical scripture John 1:8-10, which talks about confessing sin and receiving God's forgiveness. Other voice actors' thoughts are shared below, and there's so many different people here, from Alejandro Saab to Tara Jane Sands, Daniel McRae, J. Michael Tatum, Brandon McGinnis, Brianna Palencia, and Monica Rial, just going into, you know, this whole thread against Vic which is kind of crazy here, but you know, whatever. I will actually link a lot of these into the video description so you can read everything, including all of the tweets for yourself. I'm just kind of skimming through all these things, but you can see how many people are going and making claims against Vic, supporting survivors and all of this stuff. It's, again, this is all without full meritable evidence other than a testimony. This is just sad. And then, of course, Amelie, who has done English music covers, she spoke out about this, and a lot of people on Twitter were either blocking her or, you know, just posting negative things against her. And she's just like, you know, if you are no longer supporting me or following me or anything like that because I said I believe survivors, well, then bye, see ya. Thank you, next bitch, or something along those lines. I'll have to see if I can find that at some point later. And then we go down to the very bottom of the article. Since the allegations came to surface, all but 5 of Mignogna's 18 convention appearances scheduled for 2019 are canceled. Mignogna was at the Back Anime Convention in Bakersfield, California last weekend, where he delivered a tearful apology to the attendees. I will also link that in the description, or I will put an annotation iBox right up here for you to view this particular video as we continue on here. This is the sad part. It's like everybody who has worked with Vic in the past has either shown some level of support for him or has mostly turned on him. There are few people left to actually support him outside of the few of how, you know, however many fans there are. Maybe the fans are divided at this point and we're still trying to figure out which way we want to stand on this. Do we listen to Vic Mignogna and take his side and pray that, you know, everything will resolve itself to where Vic's image will be only the slight bit tainted because the allegations were out there, or that he will, you know, it's basically saying he's absolved of everything, but there's still, unfortunately, the tiny taint because that controversy came out? Or will he be flat out marked forever as a predator and therefore will never be able to find work again, and thus Christians again are being given a bad name? I don't know how this is all going to work out. It's sad. It's scary. This is the climate that we have to deal with now. And now let's go to one last article that I would like to read off here as part of this entire situation. It's coming from One Angry Gamer, which talks about Funimation's firing of Mignogna. Funimation fires Vic Mignogna from the Morose Mononokean 2 following #KickVic campaign. That is literally what they are calling this campaign, to get Vic Mignogna fired from literally anything and everything that he does, and maybe even get his Star Trek Continues series or movie or whatever it is to be canned because Vic is basically a sexual predator, an asshole, just overall a garbage human being. Now, this one is going to seem like one of those super biased against social justice warriors type of situations, but we're reading it anyway just because I would like to get this out there, and this is one guy venting in so many different ways for part of this group. Coordinated efforts are being made by the social justice warrior community to get voice actor Vic Mignogna fired and barred from the anime industry. This isn't hyperbole. It's happening in real time. In fact, Mignogna was just recently fired from the upcoming season of RWBY, with the character he voices on the show being handed over to another voice actor after Rooster Teeth announced that Mignogna will not be returning. However, we still do not have full confirmations from Rooster Teeth about any replacements or if Crow is going to be completely written out. I digress. Moving on. This was followed by Funimation silently firing Mignogna from the Morose Mononokean 2 ahead of the airing of new episodes for the anime. Anime News Network reported that Funimation's voice cast list was updated over on the official Funimation website for the Morose Mononokean 2. I had reached out to Funimation to confirm, and they responded by saying that Vic Mignogna had been replaced with Ian Sinclair. In fact, you have the quote right here directly from Funimation. Yes, the role of executive in Morose Mononoke 2 has been recast. Ian Sinclair is the VA effective episode 5, which launched on Saturday. This comes after persistent social media campaigns and specific media outlets targeting Mignogna, claiming that he has engaged in misconduct. The evidence? Hugging and sometimes kissing people on the forehead or cheek. There are various individuals on social media claiming that old photos and encounters with Vic are now equivalent to sexual harassment. And, okay, I apologize for the ads. You know, stupid stuff. Doggone it, I may have to just change up the window. Hang on. I do flat out apologize. This is not supposed to be the core focus of this particular situation. We are supposed to be focusing on the Vic Mignogna situation, not the ads in my sidebar, which I may not be able to get rid of. Fluffer nutters. Maybe that'll work out better. Not quite. Doggone it. This is why I don't do live type videos for you guys. This is usually why I try to do edits. Because doggone it, the stuff that comes out. Here we go. This might fix the situation. Let's go on. Okay, maybe not entirely, but we'll go with it. So then, of course, we have this photo right here of Vic with a RWBY cosplayer, Chibi Dragoness 007. I had to really dig to find this, but this was at Colossal Con 2017. Vic is practically humping me in this photo and held my arms really tight. Looking back, I look admittedly mildly psycho, but that's because I was caught between fangirling and super uncomfortable. #KickVic. Mignogna denied the allegations, mentioning that he does enjoy being close to the fans and hugging them when possible. However, this has been misconstrued by some and used as ammunition to completely bar the voice actor from the anime business. Over on Twitter, a leftist lesbian going by the handle Lana D. Spell has been keeping track of and directing traffic to various organizations to get Vic Mignogna kicked out of conventions and gatherings, bringing back up the list that I mentioned earlier for 2019, including all of the ones where there's a canceled appearance or a withdrawal of the invitation. So this is kind of getting to, showing off everything here and trying to maybe prove the points. I don't know, but it's not getting enough evidence across for me to believe whether or not Vic is flat out guilty at this point. The tweet itself reads, "That's all, folks. Vic Mignogna has been canceled from future conventions for the year 2019. Your voices were heard and con runners listened. #KickVic out of the industry altogether." Then, why do we still have some people that are scumbags in acting that are, doing their stuff still, despite being, total scumbags? There's also been targeted campaigns aimed at Funimation through social media to get them to drop Mignogna altogether from their projects. From a Twitter user named @PrinceOfThreads, there is this little image cap right here. When Polygon reached out to Funimation, which distributes Dragon Ball Super Broly and used to license Full Metal Alchemist, the company declined to comment on the allegations. The response actually shown in the tweet is, come out at Funimation. Stop hiding from the #KickVic hashtag. Isn't that a little bit redundant? Saying hashtag. Trauma of underage fans spanning almost a decade isn't a passing Twitter fad. This won't just fade away if you cower behind his fan base and plug your ears. We all hear your silence loud and clear. How do you hear silence? There's no sound to say. I'm not going to try and dig into that one too much. It's already kind of feeling stupid enough as it is. Apparently, the efforts from the Social Justice Brigade are actually paying off for them, as Vic Mignogna is systematically being erased from the anime industry. Anime News Network has been one of the outlets spearheading the allegations against Mignogna, despite the fact that actual evidence of misconduct has not surfaced. In fact, just the opposite has happened, where some of the evidence that was used in the media's attempts to smear the voice actor turned out to be an act of mendacity. This was brought to light when Twitter user Kung Fu Man posted screenshots from a Facebook message made by someone who appeared in a photo with Mignogna, denying that any misconduct took place. She also requested not to be used in the smear campaign against Mignogna. You have the tweet there, which has a photo collab compilation, including the original photo that Anime News Network used in their postings to try and smear Mignogna. And then, of course, there is the actual photo. I ended up in Twitter anyway. Didn't want to do that. But you'll see here that we have the actual person's remarks on the scenario. Let me get that a little bit more into perspective so that way we can read the whole thing before I transfer back to the actual article. From Casey J. Harwood, whose picture is shown as part of the slander with her face blurred out. But I digress. Casey J. Harwood responds to this situation. There is a photo also going around with Vic giving me a kiss on the cheek, and they are falsely stating I was 20 years of age in 2012. I am only 21 now. I don't know when this was posted, but we're going to move on. This particular photo was taken in Manchester at a Risenbull Ranger dinner that I had set up. Risenbull Rangers are the nickname of the fan base for Vic Mignogna himself, based upon his character Edward Elric, who was from Risenbull. Fun facts with Napoleon Dynamite. Risenbull Ranger dinner that I set up, that my mother was present at along with other parents. I requested these photos myself with my mom's and Vic's consent. I do not want to be involved in any negativity towards Vic and cause him any distress or bad press. Vic is a genuinely nice man who I admire and looked up to for many years. In no way have I got anything to do with the negativity towards Vic or the allegations. Seeing this has distressed me tonight, and I wanted to set the record straight. Keep your head up, Vic, and try to rise above it. This is just amazing. It is amazing. It is sad, but it is amazing that, we have somebody who is willing to deal with the situation and come forward to speak in favor of Vic during this negative situation. I admire that type of bravery more than the quote-unquote bravery that is coming out of the people that are stating their stories of being sexually assaulted without evidence. Evidence matters. Context matters. And now we have the context for at least one of the photos that is all blurred out. There's context in some of the other videos that are out there regarding some of Vic's misconduct. But, we'll worry about that kind of stuff, as time rolls on. Fulfill the legal obligations, drawing a conclusion sort of situation is what I'll say on that one. Going back to the article, we're going to show the Kung Fu Man tweet saying, hey, at Anime Newsnet. Any particular comment on this? The first image is the mosaic one you claim was a non-consensual pass. The second is the victim themselves saying you're fabricating stuff. The third is a reaction image in case you don't understand those. #KickVic. In addition to this, when YouTube outlet Clownfish TV attempted to cover the spurious claims and flimsy allegations that the media were pushing to the forefront of the news wires, Anime News Network's editor-in-chief, Mike Toole, labeled them as Nazis and tagged YouTube into the tweet, presumably in hopes of getting the YouTube channel flagged. This is definitely some major a-hole, but we're moving forward here. From Keneon, who apparently works with this particular channel of Clownfish TV, one of at Anime Newsnet's editors called me a Nazi on Twitter for doing a fair and balanced news video about the Vic Mignogna situation. He also tweeted at Team YouTube to get me flagged. We have been guests at several anime cons. Now I'm blocked. How do I report at Twitter Safety? There's an 18-minute video on the topic from Clownfish TV that covers the drama between them and Anime News Network relating to allegations made against Mignogna. Toole, however, is already convinced that the online testimonies is proof enough and has dismissed the idea of Mignogna being innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Exactly the problem I'm talking about when it comes to the #MeToo movement. We are living in an era where the testimonies are enough. Any of the evidence that tries to back up the claims that these events did not happen is trash and needs to be thrown out. You're already guilty. Now you got to try to fight to prove your innocence, and maybe that evidence that's a little bit more rock solid is too flimsy when compared to these testimonies. Here are the tweets, or here's the tweet thread from Mike Toole, as shown in the article. I was 100% certain that there wouldn't really be any long-term consequences. Like, even as he got dropped from the anime cons, he quietly booked a couple of more comic book show appearances. Then yesterday, his peers started speaking up, and here we are. What's most galling to me is the sheer volume of people, both on the ANN forums and here, that blithely scroll past pages and pages of first-hand testimony and photos and video and are like, well, this doesn't prove anything. Where's the evidence? Sheesh. Well, we've seen the evidence. And the conclusion I can draw from it is there's not enough evidence to state that the claims are correct. Only that, yes, Vic has interacted with fans and gotten close to them. But again, going back to the the affectionately expressive characteristics that he has. But then again, you don't care about a person's character. You just care about whether or not you can say, "Ha! Got him!" Mignogna, however, may not go quietly into the night. There have been rumblings now, or that the famed voice actor may explore legal options relating to the defamation spreading around the internet about him. These rumors and allegations have oftentimes come up in the past, but quickly then fade away. But this time they came up and have stayed within the media spotlight shortly after Dragon Ball Super Broly became a smash hit success at the box office. Since then, there has been a concerted effort from the social justice region of social media to kick Vic almost by any means necessary. Some fans have come out in support of the veteran voice actor, but the media right now is controlling the narrative and painting him as a villain even on the most spurious of terms, which is now legitimately affecting his future work opportunities. This still seems far from over, but for his fans hoping that Mignogna could just weather the storm and wait for it all to pass, it doesn't appear as if that's going to happen. This is the levels of insanity that we are dealing with in this particular political climate, this particular social climate, and it does, I don't know, with everything that's going on, we are so divided as not just a community of fans of celebrities, whether they be on-screen actors or voice actors or radio personalities or YouTubers like myself. It's crazy. We've hit this whole thing where you can just say one wrong word, have no ill intentions behind it, but that's enough for them to blow the whistle and yell rape. Heck, they don't even need to finish the word rape. They just say "r" and that's it. You're done. You are screwed. Now, of course, everybody behind the Me Too movement is saying things, well, if you are a good man, then you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Actually, yes, we still do. Because with the fact that we are to believe all women, it doesn't matter if their statements have any validity to them or not. We can still be screwed whether we do absolutely everything right or we do absolutely everything wrong. It does not matter. We're hosed 100% of the time. That's why I know of plenty of people when it comes to anything that involves internships or anything like that. They no longer bring on female interns because they do not want to risk damage to either the company or themselves personally because of the Me Too movement and its ability to just, bring out these claims with no evidence whatsoever. It's sad that this is the kind of climate we're at, to the point where a good, man of God is hosed 100%. If these allegations turned out to be true, as a Christian man, I would still forgive Vic for everything. That means if there is truly, all this evidence that says Vic is guilty, I would forgive him of his past actions and absolve my anger towards him regarding those situations. That's it. I would still be able to separate the bad from the good in that particular situation. If this were a recurring behavior that he had no control over and that's the end of it, then forgiveness will take place, but, being around Vic or having any care for Vic is like, wait, Vic who? Vic who? But with all of the evidence I've been seeing, I've even watched Lost Pause's video on the whole situation, and it's just scary stuff to see this all going on. And we're stuck in a situation where, you can be an absolutely good guy, but one negative thing, whether it's, a legitimate negative thing that happened or not, you're done. In Vic's case, getting close with his fans like he does, showing affection and support for him, that's apparently equal to rape. Something I don't quite understand there, but, I think I've said enough here. This has been a long live record video. So I'm going to just end it right here. And I'm going to go ahead and say, based on everything that I've seen, whether it's from these articles or going further and further down the rabbit hole that is Twitter, all I can say is I am going to pray for Vic that he gets through this, no matter what the outcome. And as far as who he is as a human being, I will still stand with Vic. I believe that anybody that works within my staff here at Napoleon John My Productions, or Please Rewind Napoleon, we're going to be sticking with Vic Mignogna no matter what. Whether, these allegations are true or not, we will pray that he receives the grace of God that he so desperately needs during this time, and that we as a society will forgive him regardless. Until my next time coming onto this channel with hopefully something that's more of an actual review and not one of these live reads. I'm Napoleon John. I stand with Vic, and I will see you guys next time.